There's a shocking truth that can leave anyone stunned. Even in today's age of advanced technology, brutal punishments that seem like they should have disappeared with the Middle Ages are still quietly taking place. One harsh reality check is that even today, punishments ranging from flesh-tearing cane lashings to cold execution chambers remain part of the legal system in several countries. Despite being strongly condemned by the World Health Organization, WHO, and human rights organizations for violating global humanitarian standards, these forms of corporal punishment are still considered by some governments to be the ultimate tools of justice. So buckle up and prepare yourself, because the level of shock is about to escalate with every entry and may leave you speechless. Let's dive into these chilling cases together. Number 5. Caning and flogging, corporal punishment. Taking the first spot is a form of corporal punishment that remains widely used in places such as Singapore, Malaysia, and countries that follow Islamic law, including Sudan. This punishment is applied to offenses ranging from drug trafficking to illegal immigration. I was absolutely shocked to learn that these 2-meter-long rattan canes can cause permanent physical and psychological damage, something the WHO has repeatedly criticized as a violation of human rights. If it were me, I'd probably choose to sit quietly and follow every rule rather than risk breaking the law in a place where this punishment exists. Did you know that the force of a single strike can be incredibly powerful, concentrating an immense amount of impact onto human flesh? One verified fact is that medical personnel are often present during the punishment process, not primarily to provide treatment, but to ensure the offender is medically fit to continue receiving the prescribed number of strokes. It's such a harsh procedure that it's enough to leave anyone speechless. Number 4. The electric chair and gas chamber in the United States. Deadass? That's the question many people might ask when they learn that, even in the United States, execution methods from previous centuries are still legally available in certain states. In addition to lethal injection, states such as Alabama and South Carolina still allow the use of the electric chair or the gas chamber under specific circumstances. Most notably, in early 2024, the world witnessed the first execution carried out using nitrogen gas, a method known as nitrogen hypoxia, in which a person gradually loses consciousness and dies from oxygen deprivation in an enclosed environment. As for the electric chair, thousands of volts of electricity pass through the body in a matter of moments. Here's an interesting reality check. In some states, inmates may even be allowed to choose their method of execution when more than one legal option is available. Can you imagine having to stand before a choice between an electrified wooden chair and a lethal injection? For real, it's something that makes me reflect on just how cold and uncompromising the machinery of justice can be. Number 3. The firing squad. It may sound like something from an old military tradition, but firing squads still exist in places such as North Korea and in some U.S. states, including Utah. In North Korea, executions have reportedly been carried out in public settings, often in large open areas, creating intense psychological pressure on those forced to witness them. One verified fact I came across is that in some firing squad procedures involving 5 shooters, one firearm may secretly be loaded with a blank round. The idea is that each participant can hold on to the possibility that they were not the one who fired the fatal shot. This practice is intended to ease the psychological burden on those carrying out the execution. I honestly had to pause for a few seconds when I imagined multiple rifles being aimed at a single person at the exact same moment. What about you? Do you think you would have the courage to look straight into those barrels? Number 2. Beheading, decapitation. In Saudi Arabia, beheading has historically been used as a method of execution for certain serious crimes under the country's legal system. These executions have at times taken place in public settings, where people gather to witness the enforcement of the law. The executioner uses a specially prepared sword designed to carry out the sentence as swiftly as possible. The event unfolds so quickly that it can be difficult for observers to fully process what has happened. Imagine a crowded public square as packed as Times Square on New Year's Eve, but instead of counting down to celebrate a new year, the crowd is silently waiting for a single swing of a sword. It is a harsh reality that continues to spark intense debate and criticism from human rights organizations and members of the international community, while remaining tied to the country's interpretation and application of Sharia law. Number 1. Stoning. At the extreme end of these punishments is stoning, a practice that has been reported under certain interpretations of the law in countries such as Iran and Somalia. In this form of execution, the condemned person may be partially buried, while stones are thrown until death occurs. It is often described as one of the slowest and most painful forms of execution, because the stones are traditionally chosen to inflict severe injury without causing immediate death. The severity of this practice is one of the reasons why it has been widely condemned by international human rights organizations as a serious violation of global standards against torture and cruel punishment. For real, after reading about this, I can't help but feel that the peace and security many of us enjoy today are incredibly valuable. There's no comparison involving size, numbers, or even a mountain of Dunkin' Donuts that could truly capture the weight this punishment places on human dignity. After exploring these realities, which of these punishments gave you the biggest reality check? Do you think extreme punishment truly brings peace and justice, or does it simply create more fear? Thank you for joining me on today's journey. Now I have to deal with a much smaller disaster of my own. I tried fixing the kitchen faucet, and somehow it has turned into a mini fountain. At this point, my entire floor looks more like a swimming pool than a kitchen. It's probably safe to say that my survival skills should stop at reading scripts. The moment I start fixing things, everything seems to go completely off the rails. Anyway, I'd better go mop up the water before my house officially becomes a water park. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.